Yes, talk about back to reality. Kevin Durant was back for the Nets, but
Yeah.
that didn't really help their matters. They
No.
ended up with another loss during the weekend against his old team, the OKC. Uh, Brooklyn was now seen as one of the most explosive teams when
Yeah.
the season started out. They picked up big wins at the start of the season. And that hype is still there when KD plays, when Kyrie plays, and when they play together.
Yeah.
But when one of them goes missing or both of them go missing, they look like a regular NBA team, and they're
Right.
they're not really they're not really looking like one of those championship contenders, are they? We
Yeah.
spoke about momentum being a thing. We spoke about the Clippers' chemistry last season. Do you see this Nets team having similar problems, or is this a team that will make to the playoffs and then become the Nets that we know?
I don't know really because I think what is the one asterisk that we add when we talk about any team and their chances, and when we're making projections, these things can go horribly wrong, and they do a lot of the time, right? Nobody is a fortune teller, nobody has that crystal ball. But the one asterisk, when you put together a set of points that you feel are rational, that makes sense to you, the one asterisk you always mention in any sport is
Mhm.
we're assuming fitness is not going to play a spoil sport.
Yep.
Or if it's somebody who's highly susceptible to injury, then we're going to say we're assuming this guy is not going to last the season, and that's what we're basing it on. Like a John Wall or a DeMarcus Cousins coming off of long injuries, we say we're assuming these guys don't last the season because their track record hasn't been great. But if they're fit, whatever. If Steph
Yep.
Curry doesn't get any injuries, then this is what we expect. Now, with the Brooklyn Nets, that was the one asterisk we always spoke about is if they
Mhm.
have absences to injury, well, who the hell knows what's going to happen, right? Because who gets injured, how long are they out? But otherwise, this is a tour de force in the East. So far, they've had Dinwiddie out long term. Maybe he comes back this season, maybe he doesn't. That's not an easy injury to return from. So there's that. That's a big blow. Probably the third best scorer, on par with Levert, probably a little better. Now, him gone, then you have the other problem, and this is something that we kind of factored in the Kyrie Irving impact on the locker room, but
Yep.
we didn't even nobody I think saw this coming, where he's affecting the locker room without being in the locker room. That's a whole nother level of awesome. Kyrie Irving just disappears for 3 days. He's doing basically what James Harden did, except he's not really on the trading block or wants to be there. He wants to
Yep.
be in this team, wants to win with this team, and he's treating the team like James Harden is treating the Rockets. Dude disappears for 3 days, 4 days, says he doesn't want to play, feel like playing. Coach says he has no clue where this guy is. He sent some text messages, hasn't heard back. And then you see 3, 4 days later, some random dude posts photographs of Kyrie partying somewhere. It's his sister's birthday and dad's birthday in 1 week, some such. I mean, it's ridiculous when you're getting paid that kind of money, or just really any kind of money to do a job, and then you treat that job like shit and make a mockery of the contracts. Between him and James Harden, right now, the league looks like a joke. Like the league
Yep.
looks poorly run because of their inability to step in and crack the whip. And it's basically sending a message that as long as you're a superstar, you get away with anything, which is kind of the message that NFL's been sending for years. And the NBA has always been against that. Even Jordan
Mhm.
wasn't above the law. It looks like that's changed. So that's pretty much what's plaguing the Brooklyn Nets right now. How do we judge a team that doesn't get a consistent run of form or games with their best players? This is Clippers from last year all over again, with probably a much worse locker room situation. And it sucks for Kevin Durant because none of this is on him. He's been nothing
Yep.
but professional. Every time he's come out to play, he's balled out. Even in this defeat, he had a 30 piece. Barring his off shooting night from three, I thought he was spectacular. So none of this is on him, and yet it is because he chose to go to Brooklyn. He chose to team up with Kyrie. He chose to invest faith in Kyrie and pick him as his partner in crime to make a championship run. Uh, it's time for Kevin Durant, the leader, to step up then. And for me, really, that's the interesting piece. It's not to
Mhm.
me the most interesting whether or not Brooklyn make the Eastern Finals or the NBA Finals or whether they
Mhm.
win. To me, the most interesting thing is Kevin Durant's return as a player, which so far looks
Mhm.
spectacular. But
Mhm.
can Kevin Durant finally have the maturity and the nuance to step up as a leader? because that's the one
Mhm.
criticism that's always been around him. He was in that young OKC team. They were all young, so was he, and they couldn't get it done against LeBron and the Heat. They lost in the finals. And before and after, Kevin Durant's leadership was always questioned. Can he be that guy, the number one guy on a
Mhm.
championship team, and be the leader that he needs to be to deliver a chip? I guess we'd never know, because then he moved to the Warriors and he joined a 73-9 team, and the rest was
Yeah.
the rest is history. Now that this is firmly his team. As big as Kyrie is, this is Kevin Durant's team, which means if you've got a player like Kyrie fooling around, it's up to Steve Nash and Kevin Durant to sort this shit out. It's
Mhm.
what Jordan and Phil Jackson had to do with Dennis Rodman, or with Scottie Pippen for that matter, from time to time. This for me is the ultimate leadership test. Can you get that guy to focus? Because every time he steps, it doesn't matter what he does. Every time he steps out on the floor, he's box office,
Mhm.
exactly like James Harden. So this is a leadership litmus test, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, so that was the Nets. I think we'll have a fun time following them, like we
Yeah.
predicted at the start of the season, and this is going to continue.
Can I
But
just my closing
yes, of
thing on the
course.
Nets is look, these guys are going to make the playoffs one way or another. There's
Mhm.
no way
Mhm.
this team doesn't make the playoffs unless again catastrophic injuries hit them. Now the problem is we saw this with the Clippers last year. Can you assume that just because you're so good, you can flip a switch and at any point become that team without getting a run of form, without getting practice, without getting enough games with your superstars together? Didn't work for the Clippers last year. Boy, did that come crashing down.
Yep.
And you don't bet against history. You don't bet against things that have hardly ever happened. I don't think this team can turn it on like that. It's not that team. It's not that loaded that you can do this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And honestly, in the last 2 decades, there's only one player who's been able to turn it on whenever and they just dominate in the playoffs after chilling in the regular season, and that's LeBron James. There's been no one else that has done that. Kobe Bryant never turned it off. Everyone
Mhm.
else couldn't turn it on at will. LeBron James is pretty much the only guy that's been able to do it at will. So unless somebody proves me wrong, I'm going to assume nobody else can. So they're headed dangerously in the same direction that the Clippers were headed last season. And Durant has a real leadership conundrum in